Hello, this is Jonathan Wood from Soft Circuits. In this video, I'd like to discuss the Windows animation control and demonstrate using this control from MFC. The animation control displays an AVI file which contains a sequence of bitmaps that produce animation when shown one after the other. The animation control can play only AVI files with no audio, and the files must either be uncompressed or compressed using run-length encoding. Animation controls are often used to indicate activity during a lengthy operation. For example, the Find dialog box in Microsoft Windows Explorer displays an animation while a search is being performed. I should point out that I'm using Visual Studio 2008 Service Pack 1 and that you will need the same version or later in order to run the projects created in this video. So let me go ahead and create a new project, and it's an MFC application, and we'll call it Animate, and for simplicity we'll just do this in a dialog box. So I'll just make it a dialog box application, and I'll select the defaults for all the rest of the wizards, and then I'm going to add an animation control. And I'm going to add a control variable associated with the control. Now we only have the choice of a control type of variable, so we'll call it m_wind animate. And this will create that variable for us that encapsulates that control. Now here's Windows Explorer, and I'm in the folder that contains the source files for this project, and one file I put there is a findfile.avi, and I just wanted to show you that real quickly. It's basically a short sequence that looks correct if you keep repeating it, and you'll see there's a magenta area, and that will be our mask area. And I placed it in this directory so we can find it easily. The program can find it when it runs. And I should point out that that file comes with the image collection that comes with Visual Studio, and it's one of the animations that the system displays when searching for a file. You can embed an AVI file as a resource into your executable file, or you can simply load the file from disk when your application runs. For best results, you probably want to embed the file into your executable, but for this demonstration I'll simply write code to load it from disk. And as I mentioned, this requires that Windows can find the file, so I placed it in the folder that contains my source files. So let's go do the code that initializes the dialog box on init dialog in the for that particular dialog box, and we can reference our animation control directly, and we can call the open method. Now the open method is overloaded, and one of the forms takes an integer, and that would be the resource ID if we had this embedded as a resource. And since I'm just reading it from from disk, I can simply enter the name of that file. And then the next thing we want to do is actually play the file. And the animation control or class, I guess, has the play method, and it takes a number of arguments. The first one is the from argument, and that's the zero-based index of the frame where playing begins, and a value of 0 means begin with the first frame in the clip. So we'll start with the first frame. The second argument is the to argument, and that's the zero-based index of the frame where playing ends. A value of -1 means end with the last frame in the AVI clip, so we'll use -1 and we'll play the entire clip. And finally is the repeats argument, and this specifies the number of times to replay the AVI clip, and a value of -1 means to replay the file indefinitely. So we'll use -1 there to simply keep playing the file. And let's go ahead and give that a try, see if I get everything right. And there we see our animation just repeating over and over. And now there's a couple of things here we might want to do. First of all, we probably don't want to over to the extreme left. And we can do that by moving our control. However, there's also a property called center, and if we set that to true, and we'll position the control right across the screen. If we set that to true, it'll automatically center the animation within the control. And in addition, we also want a transparent background. We don't want to see the magenta color, so we need a transparent background. So, oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention about the center property or style. If the control does not have that center style, the entire control actually is resized when the AVI clip is opened to match the size of the image. So let's the other one we want to look at is the transparent, and we can set that to true, and let's take a look at that. And that didn't work. Let's see. I'm sorry, actually we don't want the transparent property, we want the animation transparent property set to true. Let's take a look at that. And there we see we've got rid of the magenta, and instead we see the background. We also have a border on the control. We don't want the border. And let's take a look at that. Now the center property we set, also note that that can all be done from code. In addition, the control has an autoplay feature. In that case, we do not need to call the play method. However, you still need to make sure that you have an AVI file loaded and ready to go, so that it's able to play something. Now, if you do have the autoplay style set, the animation control will automatically start playing the clip immediately after it opens it. So we could open it, and we don't have to call the play the play method as I just mentioned. But it will continue to play the clip in the background while your thread continues executing. And when the clip is done playing, it'll automatically be repeated. So the animation control allows you, like I said, it's running in another thread. This allows you to perform some operation such as copying or searching, and you know, some of these operations, they might be very lengthy, but they don't have a lot of going on that the user is able to observe. And so by showing an animation, the user sees that something is happening at least, and perhaps it just gives them a feeling that something's being done more than anything else. But that's a good use of the animation control, although you can use it for more complex videos and so forth. But for showing a lengthy operation and for showing something that that is happening during that lengthy operation, The animation control is a good option, and it's also an option that a user will be familiar with if they use Windows, since Windows uses it a lot.